the opportunity to learn from an amazing, amazing person. Okay, so she took up BS Economics in UP Diliman. She worked for Citibank as relationship manager. She's a former runner and shy athlete. She is a pole dance athlete and a champion at that 2017 Air Stars pole dance, which was in Taiwan. She joined True Life of UK in August 28, 2015. And within that year, within her 1 year, she was awarded 2016 Top 7 Rookie Agent nationwide. Star Club National Achievers 2016 and 2017, and a two-time MDRT qualifier. So now I'd like to call in Ian Reyes. Let's give her a round of applause.
Okay, hi, good morning everyone.
Morning.
So I like that you opened this e-learning session and you opened it with, I guess, a meditation and an energizer because it sets a good, a positive energy throughout the session and possibly throughout the day. So I wanted to thank you for inviting me to come over. And I'm just going to go through a maybe 20-minute presentation to talk about tips to help you close the sale. So I came up with these tips based on how for the past almost 3 years, this August 2018, I've come up with tips on how I actually go through the selling process. So are you all licensed insurance agents? Most of you are. So you guys are in the field or you go on and sell and talk to clients each day. Yes. So hopefully as I share with you my tips, you'll be able to pick up something that you can apply within the next 24 hours if you have a meeting later or maybe tomorrow. So I'm a bit nervous because I'm not used to speaking in big crowds, so I hope you can bear with me. So I'll move on to the next. How do I do this? So I'll skip that part because I was already introduced. So the first tip that I have here is, so the setup here is you have already reached out to your client and you have successfully set an appointment, right? So you dress up, you come with maybe your iPad or your papers or whatever it is that you come with when you meet the client for the first time. And then the very first thing that you do when you see your client is, of course, you acknowledge your client's presence with a smile, and you always have to have a business card. So I feel that it's important that you come with a smile, and that's the first thing that you do because it elevates the mood and it helps ease tension, and it will always leave a lasting good first impression. So why is having a business card important? I feel that you always need to have a business card, especially if you are maybe in your first year of business, because it helps show to your client that you actually mean business in the meeting. Because most often we come to the meeting and we meet our clients at coffee shops or restaurants, so these are very casual locations. And I guess sometimes when clients come meet you, they often think that, okay, I'm just going to have lunch maybe with a friend, especially if your client is your friend. So handing him or her your business card at the very onset or right before you begin the meeting shows that you're actually there to do business, although the meeting tone can be very casual. Also, your business card has your company logo, so it also shows your branding. And maybe, I guess, your business card can also have at the bottom, right under your name, your achievements. So it might also be a good point of conversation. So that's the first strategy or tip that I have. So the next slide is, so let your client do the talking. I'm not sure if you guys have met with agents before you actually became an agent. And did you notice that some agents, what they do when they meet the client for the first time is they talk about the history of the company, they talk about what VUL is, they talk about this and that and this and that. So they go on lecturing. It's not a wrong approach, but I guess personally it doesn't really work best for me because I find that the profile of most of my clients are businessmen and employees. And they usually meet during lunchtime, during coffee break, or maybe after working hours. And you have to understand that these people, they go through working hours and sometimes they are bombarded with information. So the last thing they would want is to be able to come to a meeting and have to sit down through another lecture. So my next tip is let your client do the talking. So remember that you're there to meet the client and the focus is always your client. So it's important that if, for example, you find that your client is not willingly sharing information, because I've encountered people who I meet and I think they already know how this goes, how this happens because they've already met agents in the past. They go on telling me about what they do, maybe what they have or what they need, especially if they know. But if they don't do that, what you can do is you can ask them questions that will guide you towards answers that you will be able to use. So maybe questions such as, okay, so you ask questions like, what do you do for a living if you don't know the person, maybe a little bit about family background. But you also ask questions such as, what is the reason you wake up every morning? Or my favorite question to ask clients is, why do you work so hard? You can also ask, what are your financial goals? So you can try to uncover and understand further your client. I always ask the question, why do you work so hard? I guess I picked this up from our consultant, who we meet almost every month because I guess I feel, and when he shared this with us, he felt that the question evokes some emotion in a person because we all have work and we all work for a certain purpose. So aside from that, you can also ask about current investments or insurance placements, and you can ask about hobbies. So moving on to the next tip. So as your client shares more details with you, what you would try to be doing in the meeting is you would try to understand your client's financial vision. So I use the term or that word financial vision. So let me just share a quick story with you. The financial vision term I coined or I picked that up from one of the speakers in the MDRT conference. So last late June, I was actually privileged to go to the annual conference for the first time. And in the conference, there would be pickups, focus sessions rather. And one of the speakers, his name was Jedediah Levine. He is an 8-year MDRT member, and he is out of the 8 years he qualified once as COT. And he talked about focusing on the plan and not the product. And he was the one who shared the word financial vision, and it actually struck me. And that was one of the terms that stayed with me. And I thought about it because as I would mentor, I have some aspirants who I help to go through the process to becoming MDRT. And I do have one recruit. And I would always tell them to uncover or understand the need. But I felt that the word or the term financial vision is more encompassing. Also, I'm pretty sure most of you here have vision boards, or I guess you've written down on your notebook maybe what your vision is for, let's say, your year, this year, your next 3 years, your next 5, 10, 15 years. So when you have a vision, you also have a journey towards achieving the vision, right? So when you use the term financial vision, it kind of sets your role as a financial advisor to be part of the client's journey throughout, or to be able to achieve the financial vision. Because remember, when you're going to be dealing with clients, you have to understand that they don't want to be talking to somebody who's just going to be there for one sale. And then after a year, after 2 years, the policies go on for 5, 10, 15 years. They're not going to have the same person to talk to, right? So that is also what you have to try to remember and try to understand when dealing with clients. Okay. So as you uncover or understand the financial vision, this is still part of the first meeting or first encounter with the client. You will be ending the meeting maybe in 30 minutes to an hour after you get all the info you need. Before you end the meeting, you always need to ask for a working budget. So what I usually do is I ask my client, how much are you willing to put aside? So that I can come up with a proposal or proposals that will help you maybe achieve, let's say, luxurious retirement. So I will put in the need, the specific need of the client based on the conversation. Doing that also allows your client to feel that you are actually listening to what he or she is saying. Because sometimes I know you, especially if the client talks a lot, there's a tendency for us to have a difficult time listening and sitting still. But when you when you go on and end the meeting by also reiterating some points of the client, it actually helps make your client feel that you actually listen to him or her. And then, so before also you end, I would usually set a second meeting with the client. So I'm not quite sure how you do your business, because I think maybe you guys have an online way of doing it, so you already have an iPad and you can go on to show a proposal. I, on the other hand, have to go home or maybe go back to the office and prepare a proposal. So I usually close into meetings, not on the first meeting. So that's how it's done for us. You can also set the meeting. So what you would do is you would ask the client when is the next week time. If he or she doesn't know or doesn't give an answer, you can set it maybe the next day or 2 days after, because I guess setting it too far off will also push back, or maybe the interest will die down. So the fourth tip is always take notes. You have the option whether you want to take down notes as you meet your client or you want to do it after. So I usually do it after. I try to take mental notes, and then right after, when the client leaves, I go on my phone and I type down some specific information that I picked up from the meeting. And usually these are the important details of the client that you have to take note of. So you need the complete name, right? Because you can't make a proposal without the name. You also need the birth date. It would be good if you know the minimum maximum budget. So that would be the budget that you use for the annual premium. And then you would also need to know, of course, what your client does, especially if, let's say your client is in a line of work or business that is high risk or subject to a lot more compliance, so that you can also guide him or her accordingly with all the forms that he or she needs to accomplish later on. You also need, of course, to know the status, if he or she is single or married, number of kids and their ages. If you can remember the names, that's better. And usually I would put down current insurance policies and investment placements. So it would just be simple notes. Like, for example, the client has a plan with Manulife. I would put Manulife, 5 years payable, and then the annual premium. Usually the clients never remember their coverage, but if they do, you can also put that down. So, okay, so the next point that I have is, okay, so as you take notes and as you come up with proposals for your client based on what he or she needs or based on his or her vision, the next thing that you would want to do is you want to execute your client's financial vision by recommending a plan. When I say plan, I mean maybe 1 or 2 proposals in line with what the client wants to achieve. Whether it's for retirement, maybe to be able to come up with 20, 30 million in retirement, or whether it's maybe to have an education fund in the next 15 years. Or if it's something to cover or to ensure that there is ample protection in case something were to happen to the client with several dependents. So whatever it is, you use what you jotted down or your notes to be able to make proposals. So how I do it is, so I would come to the second meeting, right? And then I would have maybe 2 or 3 proposals, or maybe at the most 2 per plan. Because usually we have, I'll give you an example. We have a forever pay plan, which client will be putting aside payments for the rest of their life. or we have a limited pay plan, let's say a 10-year plan. So what I usually do is I work with a minimum maximum budget for each kind of product, and I come with that when I meet the client for the next time. So
Can I go to the next slide?
okay, so assuming that you've already finished your proposals and you're meeting the client on the second meeting to show the proposals and you run down through all the proposals that you've generated, I would usually come with a summary page. So the QP or the proposal is maybe 6 to 8 pages long, right? And then you have to flip through pages to see the projected benefits, to see the insurance benefits. I always come with a summary page which I put on top of each proposal, and I use that to facilitate the discussion. So how I go about it is I go through the benefits, I go through the insurance coverage, but doing that, you need to make sure that at the end, you have to highlight the difference between the two. So what I do is, for example, I tell my client, this plan or this particular proposal, the PAA Plus, it gives you a maximum coverage for the budget you put aside. Whereas if your intention is to be able to grow the funds faster with a smaller amount of coverage, you go for a limited pay plan. You always need to do that because your client sometimes get overwhelmed with the details that you share and it becomes difficult for them to decide. So giving a comparison between the two plans helps them make a decision. Also, you have to make sure that right after you discuss, you ask your client, is there a particular plan that you prefer based on what I have shared with you? They usually, or they most often than not, they will choose one. And then if the client says, okay, I like this one, okay, then you take out the forms, which leads me to my next tip. It's always best to be ready with the necessary forms to finalize the sale. Because if your client already says yes and you don't have the forms, you leave without having him or her sign it, therefore no submission. And if you come back to the client later on, he or she may have changed his mind. So then you go through the forms with the client. What my clients like is that I prepare the forms beforehand. That's on the assumption that they will actually sign. Sometimes I write their names down on the signature portions and I put post-its. I don't know, they love the post-its because it just makes them see that you're super organized.
Let's call it a shoot close.
Yes.
Nakahiyaan na.
Yes. So you can write down the names and put the post-its where they need to sign. I always get good feedback. And what I do is right before I meet the client, I send a reminder. So I would text, let's say for example, hi Rachel, I just sending a reminder about our meeting later. And then I also tell them to please bring one valid government issued ID. Because, and your TIN, usually they don't know their TIN, and your TIN because we will need it in case we finalize. So I don't know if it has an effect, but it's been working for me so far. Maybe they know that this is what they need, right? So they actually prepare, and maybe I'm somewhat subtly telling them, we're actually going to close. We're going to close the sale when we need. So, yeah, so that's tip number 6. Okay, so the next step is, so after the client signs, you submit. Be sure that as the client's application is being underwritten, as it's being processed, you ensure your client that you are going to update him or her once the policy is issued. So that's what I usually do. My next text is a hi, for example, Rachel, your policy was issued and good news. I actually start with hi Rachel, great news. Your policy is already issued and effective on a specific date. For your reference, this is your policy number. And then I tell my client the next step, which I would have told them already in the meeting. So I always tell them about the process, like how it's going to go on. Right after I meet them, what is the next step, and where do we go from here if they ask. I think it's important that you let them in on how it's going to happen because it's also good for them to be aware. I mean, you personally, if you think about it, if let's say you're not in the insurance business and you're getting a plan, what kind of agent or what kind of insurance business person would you want to be dealing with? Of course, you want somebody who's telling you what's gonna happen next, right? Not somebody who's gonna close the sale and then you can't reach his or her phone. So the next step, so right after I have the policy issued, I wait for it. It comes usually after 2 to 3 weeks. I believe for you guys, it's delivered to the client. So for us, we get the policy in our office, and then I meet the client again on the third time, or for a third time, and I deliver the policy. Maybe what you can do is, once the policy is delivered to your client, you can send a message and ask, have you received? If the client has received it, I'm not sure, if you want, or if it's okay with you guys, you tell the client, could you bring the policy, and maybe you can call me again. So, and then once the client brings the policy, maybe you can run down on the benefits again. You have to keep repeating the benefits because the clients forget. So at least later on when they meet you, you would have told them, I went through the benefits or the insurance coverage maybe 3 times on the past or during the past meetings we've had. Also, you use the policy delivery time to be able to solicit your referrals. So I'll just share with you a spiel or how I do it. So I go through the policy, I put it through the pages, I ask, do you have any questions? And then if they say no, I say, are you happy with the plan that you got? And usually they say yes. Of course, they're going to say yes, right? So when they say yes, you can actually use that as an opening. I usually tell them, if you're happy with this plan, maybe you can recommend to me 3 office mates who you feel would benefit from the blessings of a similar plan. So that's usually my spiel on how to get referrals, because the client is happy right after the delivery. So when they cannot think of names, so this will happen, and you go try this, it will happen. Sometimes they'll say, kausapin ko muna siya, or tanong ko muna siya. What I do is, okay, sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes it does. I go, maybe you can give me the names and the numbers, and I will just reach out. If they don't reply, it's not a problem. It means you're not interested. Some people actually, they'll go, okay, sige, I'll give you the name, is the numbers. Ask a little bit also about the client. So maybe you can say, if it's okay with you, can you give me the background of what this person does? Let's say, if it's Russ, what does Russ do for a living? Are you guys the same age, or does he have kids? Just those 3 basic details: job, maybe age or marital status, and maybe if he or she has kids. So also during the policy delivery meeting, so that's on my 3rd meeting, I usually assure, or you assure the client of the world-class service you will provide. How do you do this? So you tell the client, so moving forward, I usually do policy anniversary reviews. Unless the client wants to meet me every quarter, that's fine. So I would tell the client, unless you have a specified, or maybe you have a preference to meet more often, then that's fine, I will come meet you. Always think of the client's needs. So what is best for them? Maybe they want text updates. Ask them if they want text updates. Then be willing to do that for them. So, okay. Also, if for example you're gonna go on a trip, because everybody here wants to be NPRT. Everybody here also wants to achieve the highest level of achievement possible. Is it platinum gold for you guys? Gold. So for crew, it's I don't know the other levels, but the highest is Star Club. So every time you are a Star Club achiever, and if you qualify for MDRT, you go on maybe at the minimum, with crew at the minimum 5 travels each year. So I tell my clients about the trip. So I tell them I'm going to be out of the country. If you need to send me a message, you can Viber me. So always keep your line open. And what I also do is, when I go on a trip, and it falls right in between policy issuance and policy delivery, I get my client a little token gift. So it makes them feel that as I was away, even though let's say I was working, because of course they see them on my posts that Top Shot, or even obviously I'm not working when I'm in Iceland or I'm not working when I'm in London, right? So getting them small gifts makes them feel that hey, my client, my agent actually remembered me as he or she was away. So something as simple as chocolate, maybe tea if you came from a place that's known for tea. So just little things. Because people or clients usually appreciate that. You can also go as far as, so this is on the side already of this tip. You can also go on and give gifts. And that's actually going to lead me to the next tip, or the next slide, which is you deepen the relationship with your client through constant communication. So how do you constantly communicate with your client? One would be you send regular texts. Even if you have nothing to say, maybe you can just send a message and ask your client, hi Ross, good morning. I just wanted to ask if you have any concerns on your policy. Please feel free to text me or email me so I can address. Even if they don't reply, it's fine. But they actually do. They'll say, oh, thank you, good morning, like that. People appreciate those little gestures. Another way of keeping communication with clients is reminding them of premiums when they're due. So I know maybe clients would be enrolled in auto debit or credit card, right? So it would just recur each month, each quarter. Usually, maybe you only text your clients if it's like an annual premium or a quarterly premium or semi-annual that wasn't really enrolled. Doesn't matter. You can still text them and then maybe say that I just wanted to remind you your premium is due on a specific date. If you have a secretary, I would recommend you do the texting instead of the secretary because it's also a little bit more personal. You can also remind them that you are, sorry, not remind, you can also text them after you've received the payment just to, make them feel that, okay, hey, my client's still here, still updating me, kahit payment lang, kahit wala namang gustong ibenta, ina-update pa rin niya. Also, you can give gifts during Christmas. So, small tokens, maybe not GCs because I think GCs are, good as cash. It's not really good practice. I also, coming out from the NDRT conference, I made this card for my clients. So, I put my photo. Yeah, that's my photo. So, I put my photo. I just made this on Microsoft Word because I'm not really very techy. And I put I don't know if that's short enough, but it's just a quick letter. And I sent it to all my clients last year and last year because they helped me qualify for MDRT. So the letter just says that I wanted to take this opportunity to thank you for allowing me to be part of your financial journey as your dedicated financial consultant. And then I just said that I went to a conference wherein I also went, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I told them at the last part of the letter that I qualified for MDRT. I just put a one-liner on what MDRT is about, and I told them that being MDRT actually allows me to improve further and grow as your trusted financial consultant. And I told them that it allows me to, or it will be a venue for me to improve my service to becoming world-class. And therefore, my intention for sending this out is to make them feel that I'm also grateful that they trusted me. And I'm also with them all the way, right? So this is a journey with your client. Okay. You can also send out birthday cards. What I picked up from the MDRT conversation was, I guess, some top of the table members, they actually make videos. Like there was one, I think she was Indian, her name is Pretty. She has a video where she sends it to her clients, she's playing the flute. So I guess maybe if you have a talent and you want to just go on and share it with your client, you can make a short video and send it to them. Or you can make actual birthday cards kasi people usually just text. But texting has no effort. So it is easy to send a text. 1 peso lang or kung naka-aming text, wala namang pairing, diba? So I guess making actual greeting cards would show a little bit more effort. You can also deliver the gifts to your clients personally. I actually do that. So I go to their office. If they're not there, I say it's fine. I'll just leave it at the lobby. But I'm the one who goes to deliver my clients' files. So, so I guess to put everything together, I'm almost done. To put everything together, what am I trying to do as I go through this sales process or procedure with my clients? What I'm trying to do is I am trying to create value. Creating value for your clients will help them trust you. It will transform your business, and also it will set you apart from all other agents. How many agents are in FWD? Crew has 16. I think maybe 20,000 agents. How many agents does Sunlight have? So there are so many agents all around. I mean, maybe your cousin or even your sister is an agent. So how do you set yourself apart? You have to create value in your very sales process, and you only have maybe one chance to do this because you only meet your clients for the first time once. So it's better to get it right. And move on to the next slide. So I just wanted to leave a quote that I picked up with you. So this quote, or maybe this phrase or short 2 sentences, was said by D. Scott Brennan. Just to give you a quick background about him. He is a 35-year MDRT member. So out of his 35 years, he was also once a past president of MDRT, and he is a recipient of a largely or highly regarded insurance award in the US. So he said that buying life insurance is not a commercial transaction. It is an exchange of emotions. So as you go on home, maybe after your session, think about how you can create value and how you can make an emotional difference in your client's journey. Thank you.
Alright, once again, let's give Leah a round of applause. You guys learned a lot from Leah. Yes. Now we're opening the floor for Q&A. So anyone wants a question? Has a question?
See, the floor is now open for question.
Anyone?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello. Okay. So my most difficult life is my dad. My dad is a banker. So being a banker and an investor, his initial belief is, I don't need to buy more life insurance. I would rather invest my money, maybe possibly buy a child, I'm not really sure. He would rather invest money and make it grow so that he can maximize returns on his cash. So I set a first meeting with him at home, yes, but he didn't really want to meet. He just said email me. So okay, so I emailed a proposal for single pay. So he only wanted single pay. And what he did was he forwarded my email to his financial investor, not financial, his investment consultants. And then he forwarded me the response. He said, yes, this is okay. So he bought one plan. But that wasn't really the plan I was trying to sell him. I was trying to sell him a regular pay because I asked him, how much is your coverage? So he gave me an amount. Then I told him, that's too small. Because I said that if something happens to you, okay, fine, you have 4 daughters and you have a wife who you will leave behind. But everything that you own, we will need to pay estate taxes for it. And I told him, I can't afford the estate tax, right? So he said, so I guess that was my selling. That's how I sold to him. I really highlighted on the importance. Back then, there was no trade law. So the taxes were a lot different. It would be, I guess, almost 20% of your estate. So I told him, top of mind, if this is your worth, this is the amount of coverage you have, that's not even enough to pay for taxes. So I was just persistent. I just kept asking him, oh, can we meet then? You know, and then I just stuck to my point of selling. Because that is my real reason for selling him a plan. And then after that, he said, okay, I will get a policy. And then he did not only get one policy, he has got four or five with me now. So yeah, he was my most important friend because of that mindset. Say he lives alone in my house, so I always say, oh, what's the no? It didn't take them too long. It just took a lot of convincing. Also, maybe I was extra nervous because I was scared to be rejected by my own dad. So it's actually more prevalent, the feeling of being scared to be rejected by somebody whom you know. Kasi yung hindi ko naman kilala, hindi ko naman siya makikita after how many months, di ba? So yeah, that's maybe 1 month.
Who else has a question? Yes, sir.
I just want to know what were your struggles or how were you doing the first 6 months of your financial result?
So I was coded 2015, late August. I was 28 to be exact. So I have to admit I wasn't really selling anything because I was in Germany and all this. But so for the last few months of the year, I only had 3 cases: dad, me, and sister. But the next year, so 2016, I was a little bit distracted because I was selling non-life insurance. So the only reason why I got into life insurance was because I thought that dealing with clients who buy car, fire, maybe CGL coverage, will want to also just deal with one person to sell them life insurance. But I was focused on non-life. So for the first 6 months of 2016, that was my first full year, I would have one case, 30,000 in 1 month. That's the APE that I would close. So towards the middle part of the year, when I decided to let go of non-life, that was the only time I was able to fully focus. So the struggles were there because one of the major concern I had was, nakakahiya yata yung job. Kasi di ba parang I'm not open to people, I'm not open to telling people that from being a Citibank relationship manager, I'm an insurance agent. Because admittedly, being an agent is one of the most underestimated, and sometimes people think it's not so prestigious, right? So getting into this business, I actually received a comment about that from my own parents. They were like, "Ha? Mag-agent ka na?" And then my dad was saying, "Yung insurance industry is not doing so well, blah blah blah." You know. So I received that comment from my parents, but I stuck through it. The last 6 months of the year, that was when I actually started to really sell, because June I hit my first biggest month ever. So I think I closed almost 1 M in premium, but that was over 6 cases because I'm a case counter. I have many cases. I don't just rely on 1, 2 million case to be able to qualify. So that's one of the struggles that I encountered. I would get a lot of rejection too. I would get seasoned a lot, and it's kind of, it gets you a little bit emotional. Parang ay, kita naman yun, tapos biglang magpo-post siya later, tapos hindi kanya ni-replyan, yung gano'n, and then he will see you, or the person will see you, then kunyari hindi niya nakita yung message mo. That happens a lot, but I don't take it personally. I used to. Honestly, I used to feel, parang kakahiya, or, all these things. But later on, I've learned to deal with it because it's bound to happen to you. I mean, you're bound to get rejected, you're also bound to get seen zoned, but it doesn't necessarily mean that that person will not buy from you later on. So, sorry, I just wanted to share. I've had so many cases where people don't reply to me, but I think I just try to focus on other clients, and I would post a lot about my achievements and the travels that I've been on, because I guess it also shows people that, that you're credited. Because, wow, why is she traveling? Who will send her on a travel for free if she's not good, right? Or why does she have awards? So posting that, I actually had people who seasoned me be the one to message me, hi, can I meet you? Ganyan, I have a question. I've been, so on and so forth. So you can use that as motivation.
I'm just curious what shifted from not so proud to like appearing in CBN, okay? And what's the most exciting part of your career?
How it shifted. I think when I started to realize that the career is a noble career. So it is a noble and rewarding career. In the start, when I understood what the plans were about, but I could not really see yet how it would actually help people until I don't have a death claim yet. Until my co-agent started telling me about how a client of theirs passed away. I had one successful claim, but it was accidental medical reimbursement. And I guess the feeling of being able to help the client started to make me feel, hey, this is really a career that will help people. Aside from that, when I get comments about or comments from my own clients who thank me for being able to help them save a certain amount, because the plans help you put aside money consistently or regularly and help you commit to a plan, right? And usually, I have a lot of young clients. Their difficulty is to be able to save a certain amount because they want to spend everything. But I would tell them the plan is precisely to help you with that. And I've had clients send me a text, and I actually I get overwhelmed with emotion when I get that. Because in the start, I struggled to close the case. Medyo parang hiya pa ako because I thought that I was the one who needs to be able to close the case, to be able to strive or thrive rather in this business. But I realized, mas kailangan mo pala yung policy na binibenta mo kaysa sa akin. Diba? So I think that's what shifted my mindset about my career. You have to be proud of what you do. You will really face so many rejections in the start. But if you let that get to you, you will not be able to help your client. You will not be a blessing to your client. They won't see it now, but they will later on when you start having to facilitate things. What's the most exciting part? I guess it's growing to become maybe eventually a manager, because right now I'm not really actively recruiting. To be honest, I am trying to qualify the second and third level of MDRT, but it's not really very easy. It's a struggle. So I'm trying to go for that. But I think what I'm more excited about is being able to manage effectively people. I have one recruit, as I said, who's really just selling. And then when I found out last month that he was top rookie agent for 1 month and 1 quarter, and he's number 2 in our branch. I was like, wow, ang galing mo pala to joke. I was like, hello, kasi in the start, I was having a difficult time with him because sometimes he doesn't reply, you know that feeling na hindi ka na-replyan, di ba? Di ba parang, wala siyang 1 minute to reply, di ba? Yun, so at the start, ganun yung relationship namin as his manager. But then when I saw that, okay, fine, hindi na siya nag-reply, pero nagpo-produce naman siya. Sige, pagbigyan ko na siya. So, yeah, that's an exciting part.
It's about you empowering others.
Yeah. How do I set that appointment and how do I find time? Okay. How do I prospect? I talk to everyone. So in the start, I had relied on family and relatives. But relatives was a bit difficult. I didn't have many relatives to lose. Parang there was so much hesitation. Kasi matanda na ako, hindi ko kailangan, so on and so forth. So I needed to find other clients. So what I did was, because as shared by Rachel, I do work out a lot. When I was in triathlon, I started to talk to the triathletes who I trained with. So they became my clients. And then I pole dance, I'm there in the studio almost every day. I started to talk to my classmates, my pole dance classmates, and my pole dance teachers. So everybody. And then as I went on, I ran out of clients. So I started going through Facebook, A to Z. Facebook, A to Z. Yes. And then I started soliciting more referrals. I went to my sister and I told her, you need to give me 10 names. I need 10 names from you. And then she goes, but my friends would have, oh, no, never mind, just give me their names and numbers. I will reach out if they don't reply, it's my problem. Okay, she gave me 10 names. So I did that. I have 3 sisters. So, and then from my parents, I also asked for referrals. So I asked for referrals from my clients. Eventually, my clients started referring without me asking. So that's how I would prospect. I don't judge. Well, I try not to judge people by what they do. Like the barista in Starbucks in Ayala Tower, she always talks to me. She remembers my name. So I started talking to her. She always says, "Saan yung travel mo ngayon? Saan ka galing?" So I gave her my card. So, but if she joined real estate, but she's still a prospect, right? Maybe if she's in real estate, she wants to refer for MRI. I can close the MRI insurance policy, and she can be the successful real estate broker or agent. So I talk to everybody. How do I approach? I just ask. I'm pretty straight up. Okay. If you're going to chat on Facebook Messenger, there are 2 ways to do it. So one of my successful co-agents, this is how he does it. For example, the name is Miguel. He sends a message, Miguel, with a lot of L's, and then what's the exclamation point, like it's urgent. And then of course the person will reply. Once he's able to get the reply, he now starts to chat with the person, and that's his way of building rapport. You can do that, or you can be straight up, which is pretty much what I do. I don't like to chat kasi. So I send a message, for example, hi Miguel, good morning. I actually say that I'm a long time, how are you? I just wanted to share that I'm a financial consultant of Life UK. I kind of memorized it because I sent it pretty much to a lot of people. And then after that, I tell them that I just wanted to ask if you would, or I've been meaning to ask if you would be open to sitting down with me for an exploratory chat on insurance, investments, and or our offerings. And then if this is okay with you, I know it's kind of long. This is okay with you, may I ask if you're free to make some time to speak? We can do it over lunch and we can catch up. So thank you. Looking forward to hearing from you. It actually worked at some point because like a lot of maybe people who I send that message to on Facebook would actually reply. And the others, I've been able to close them, and their premiums are actually like more than 100,000. So you can do that. But you just need to ask. Whatever way of asking, just ask. You will either get a no or a no reply, and then you just have to move on. It's not the end of it.